Hey guys, welcome to the podcast Strikes Back. My name is George, and you're tuning in to our first ever episode. This is our weekly movie show, and we're going to be talking about some really big stuff that dropped. Red Band Alien Covenant trailer. Oh, it's gruesome. We also saw Logan. We'll be giving our non-spoiler review for that, and a whole heap of other things. And I'm really excited to be here with Ben Smith, Conor McGregor. How are you guys? What are you guys excited to talk about?
Me, it's mostly about Netflix. It's my life now.
I'm still pretty buzzed off Logan. I'm just riding that high. What a movie.
Yeah, they really just did something spectacular with Logan, but we'll get to that later in the show. Connor, what's up first, man?
Yeah, like I just said, first thing up is Netflix. They've dropped 2 trailers and another big news story about upcoming original content. I think 2017 is really the year that we kind of get into full swing with them putting out some serious content.
It's the year that they just take over the movie industry completely.
I mean, streaming is getting there. Amazon had an Oscar nomination.
It's building credibility. It's building viewership. They're changing the game, and they're doing it with A-list stars. I mean, in these trailers and news, we've got people like Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Brad Pitt, Will Smith. This is A-list stuff. They're not messing around. They're throwing money at this thing. I heard they're throwing $125 million at The Irishman.
Yeah, the Scorsese's new film.
Which is what got announced. So Scorsese's film that's been sort of talked about for the past decade, The Irishman, finally found a home with Netflix. What a great poach by them.
That is the biggest get anyone could hope for. The long gestating film from Scorsese. Crazy.
You know, and this film's going to star Robert De Niro.
And Al Pacino. That's a cool mix that we haven't seen
and possibly
in a very long time.
Joe Pesci.
And Joe Pesci, yeah.
And something interesting that I'd never really thought about was Scorsese and Al Pacino have never worked together on screen.
That doesn't seem true. I mean, I know it is, but it just doesn't seem like that's... You just assume that they've worked together before.
Why are you lying to us, George?
Why would you do this?
I just have to.
Just even 5-10 years ago, the idea of any reputable actor doing TV was laughable. And then True Detective is probably the tipping point. And
now House of Cards, I'm sure, would probably be
a bunch of those.
Who cares about House of Cards?
I think even The Wire, going back, I think The Wire was a game changer, you know, and same with Breaking Bad.
For movie actors moving into TV.
Yeah, okay, House of Cards.
Spacey, I think, Kevin is probably the first, I guess, pioneer of that era. Just with The Irishman, and this is something that I think is kind of pertinent, and we're going to see in a lot more films, is that they're talking about a substantial amount of the budget is going to go to de-aging the main co-stars, because they're playing their characters at, 30, 50, and 75, something like that. Yeah. And that, to be honest, that worries me.
That is going to be quite probably distracting.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Fucking hell.
I'm going to put that in every episode.
Good. Excellent. No, that to me is a warning sign. You know, when good filmmakers try to use kind of cutting edge technology, you
mean when old filmmakers try to use cutting edge technology? They go a bit over the top.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a bit of a 50-50 gamble. I mean, it's either going to add to the story if they do it tastefully, but if they're talking about like a third of this film being 30-year-old Robert De Niro, that's concerning.
I think we're getting there. I think when it's used sparingly, I think in Civil War with Robert Downey Jr., I thought that was breathtaking. I couldn't believe how well that was done. But again, that was like...
If they can maintain that over a entire feature, that remains to be seen.
The Captain America 2 moment with that, I can't remember her name.
Hayley Atwell.
Thank you. That was probably one of the most disorienting scenes I've ever had, because I was trying to figure out which half of it, like half of her face was clearly CGI, and then the other half was this weird prosthetic. That was horrific.
Yeah, I think that scene is so touching and beautiful, and you're a heartless monster. That's all. Horrible scene. No, look, the other one that came out. So that's kind of slated for, I think, 2018, 2019.
2019, yeah.
Oh, God, wait. All right, fine. The other ones that are coming out a lot sooner. Bight is one. The trailers just dropped this week. I mean, that trailer took me by surprise.
Crazy. The once the biggest movie star in the world doing Netflix. That's crazy.
that took me off. And I mean, even the second one, it's Brad Pitt for War Machine. But with Bright, like just seeing Will Smith, you kind of get this idea that it's a gritty cop film.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Blade or Hellboy with
that's what it turns into.
Blaze.
All I saw was Vin Diesel running around fucking New York with the axe in Witch Hunter.
Oh, yeah. I kind of get that direct-to-DVD vibe with it.
Yeah.
Like more of a fantasy.
Is it David Ayer? Yes?
Yes, it is David Ayer.
Yeah. All right, cool. The director of Academy Award-winning Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? That credential.
People are kind of focusing on that a bit too much. So many crappy movies win technical awards. It's fine. Stop talking about it. Let's forget that movie.
Let's not forget that movie so it doesn't
Never
happen
forget.
again. Yeah. Let's not let that just like...
But that looks like a cool film.
Look, I don't think I've seen enough of it to judge whether it's a cool film. I was serious when I said all I see is kind of Witch Hunter, and that concerns me because I think that kind of mythology film, fantasy film set in modern day can be really cool. I loved Constantine, which I think it can work.
Look, it's got a very slim chance of being any good, but I love that people are shooting for the fences here. That's interesting.
Is that another Oscars reference?
No.
Well, it is whether you like it or not.
This is not the podcast where we talk about Denzel Washington's fences. That's next week.
And the other trailer was the Brad Pitt
War Machine.
War Machine, which looks fantastic.
General
looks
McMahon.
very satirical and...
Yeah, and again, it's a big actor. Like Brad Pitt is not someone that you just kind of book on a dime. He is...
A-list.
He is proper A-list. He is the very definition of A-list.
Does anyone know
celebrity.
if he's producing it at all? Plan B? Are they involved?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I didn't look. I probably should have
Seems
done
like
that
the kind of
research.
project that he'd want to have a lot of control over.
Yeah. And it sounds like the studio or the kind of studio that would give him that control. I have a feeling that Netflix is probably, in a lot of ways, the answer to the traditional studio that doesn't let the director and producers do what they need to do.
Yeah. How many times have you heard people who work with Netflix complain about their conditions or anything? Never.
They give him full free reign.
No one comes out like they come out of the Marvel machine wanting to kill themselves. It doesn't happen.
Have you guys seen Troll Hunters?
No, but I hear it's great.
I mean, you can really feel that they gave Guillermo everything that he needed. He got to execute exactly what he wanted to do. So good on Netflix. They're going to chuck $6 billion into content this year. Good on them. They're going to change the game. I fully believe that by 2020, the whole cinema release game will be on its head. Anyway, what's up next?
So we're looking at new trailers coming out that aren't Netflix, unfortunately, but are nonetheless potentially really cool movies.
If it's not Netflix, I don't want to know about it.
Next. Well, bear with me. Alien Covenant trailer came out. The Red Band one as well.
Yeah, no, I loved both of these trailers. The Red Band one had a few extra details towards the end. A skinless engineer, which was really harrowing, and some great imagery. I'm really excited for this one. It does look very familiar. We have seen a lot of this before.
It really looks like they're just having another crack after Prometheus.
I think it's what Prometheus kind of should have been from the get-go.
Yeah. Alien, the redo.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It does kind of feel a little bit like that, which, I mean, I really enjoyed the first one. And so I'm not that disappointed about it.
When you say the first one, do you mean Prometheus or Alien?
Yeah, I mean Prometheus. The first one of these.
No, he's confused, children. He means Alien, the first Alien.
I do love the first Alien, but at this point I was talking about Prometheus, which is a really good film. It is.
I like it. I like Prometheus, but it definitely has problems.
Of course it has problems, but that doesn't mean it's not a great film.
I think it looks great.
It's definitely not a great film. That's all I have to say about Prometheus.
No, that's not all you
fine.
have to say about Prometheus. I've had to listen to however many years of you complaining.
Exactly, I'm
about
done.
This film.
It's in the past. Can we put it behind us, please?
No.
Let's look forward to this new Alien,
Just
which
admit
does
you're wrong.
look
Just do it.
looks pretty cool. Watching the trailer, all I could think was, how could this be bad? Because it looks awesome. It's an alien movie.
Haven't we all been there?
Yes, we've been tricked by trailers before.
But yeah, Prometheus, that trailer was mind-blowing. And how could this go wrong was what everyone was kind of thinking. And
Ridley Scott.
We kind of got what we got. And I was a Prometheus defender. I still am. But, I acknowledge its faults. And I think they have changed what they needed to change, and this one's shaping up pretty nice. The one shot that I think was kind of strange was the Xenomorph on the ship with Danny McBride sitting in the cockpit and this Xenomorph smashing its head through the glass, about to get him and eat him. I don't know about that little bit, that tag, but the rest of the trailer was freaking awesome. So
I'm excited for this. I think it'll look good.
Feel like that bit was kind of like the croissant ship rolling along like a frisbee in Prometheus. I feel like that bit is going to be this. There's going to be some kind of parallel there where it doesn't quite work and it seems a little bit ridiculous. I think that's where that particular scene could go, but I'm excited. That white alien that looks like the one from Resurrection, when she's in the grass and it's kind of attacking. Yeah. You just see the tail slapping around. I was like, whoa, that looks freaky.
The Neomorph, I think that's called.
The Neomorph.
Very cool, yeah.
I like it.
I'm excited for that. We had that. The other trailer was the Kong Skull Island trailer. As far as like trailers themselves go, just utterly excellent.
Amazing.
Such a cool... it kind of reminded me of Snatch or...
Apocalypse Now?
No. All right, I'm going to try that. It reminded me of, what's his name?
Guy Ritchie.
It really reminded me...
Guy Ritchie. It's Guy Ritchie.
It's Guy...
really reminded...
Hey, guys. It's Guy Ritchie.
It really reminded me of Guy... You fucked me. You really fucked me.
Yeah, just some really interesting, snappy editing. Like someone actually was trying to make just an interesting little piece on its own, which you don't really see too often with trailer making.
It was really just cool sound, cool visuals to go along, really brought you in. I don't think it has told us much more about the film. It hasn't really given anything away other than that there's going to be, big-ass monkeys and big-ass bugs. Yeah,
before seeing this, I wasn't very excited for Kong Skull Island, and now I thought this trailer was awesome, and I'm really pumped to see it. I think they did a great job with the trailer, and I'm really liking this trend that's happening with trailers with putting in a song. We've seen it in Logan with Hurt. We've seen Assassin's Creed do it to good effect.
I think we're finally moving on from the slow, sad cover period that we had the last couple of years, where every trailer just had a slow, sad cover of a song.
I don't know. I feel like the song thing is coming back even more. Maybe I didn't really notice that trend. I wasn't
really.
Yeah.
Every single trailer from the last 2 years. Go back and look. Oh yeah.
Okay. I'll get to that.
But no, I think I'm saying this is moving away from it because it's using kind of the original songs or just actual songs.
It does bring me to my next to the next film, which or the next trailer that dropped, which was Pirates of the Caribbean. If anyone would like to comment on that,
burn it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I literally think you could make that trailer with all the other Pirates of the Caribbean films and replicate that trailer exactly the same because it's the same old crap. We've seen it before.
Speaking of de-aging, though, a lot of young Johnny Depp in there. That was weird.
Oh my god!
I thought that looked really bad.
If you're talking about a Grand Moff Tarkin, that's it right there.
The effects looked okay. It was just weird seeing him like that.
And Javier Bardem's skeletal zombie pirates running through the Caribbean shallow waters.
Not for you.
I can't get behind this film.
Look, this is what I find to be the tragedy of this. The first trailer, not the first teaser, but the first proper trailer that they put out with that Johnny Cash song, I really dug it. I thought it was really cool. I liked the way that they put it together. I liked the possibility of this film. I liked Javier Bardem.
Do you need to go to the hospital, man?
No. Look, that first trailer kind of made me think maybe they've made a really good Pirates film again.
Look, if I can be honest with you guys, at the risk of completely discrediting myself, I love the first 3 Pirates movies.
Thank you. This might be a spectacular moment where I actually agree with you.
I'm going to have to disagree.
where me and George disagree and we agree. But
guys, he just pulled out a ring.
Yeah.
No, but I put that down 100% entirely to Gore Verbinski, who of course has nothing to do with this new film, or the last one, the 4th one, which I think was horrendous, just a terrible movie.
Not a good film.
Yeah, most people don't even remember there was a 4th one, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, I had high hopes because of that trailer, and then this recent trailer just shat on those hopes.
It just looks like gobbledygook. It really doesn't have any. I don't know what the story's about. There's so many characters. There's so many things going on.
Aren't you keen to see Orlando Bloom?
Oh my goodness, no.
Will Turner?
No, no, get out of here. Get out. This franchise is done. I'm done with it. I can't stand it, and I dread going to see it and reviewing it for this show,
which we will do because we love you,
mate. Bloody oath.
Yeah, first in line.
Because we do the hard yards here. But yeah, look, I thought that there was potential. This recent one just kind of
I think it just was visual noise for me, and I'm not excited for it. Are you guys?
No,
not
really.
Not after the fourth one. No.
Okay, so yeah, next.
Next, the other trailer that came out, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Who cares? God,
James Gunn. Who are you? No, we love James Gunn.
Who needs you?
I cannot wait for this. I didn't think this trailer was quite as good as the last one.
Except
the last two,
Daddy.
actually.
I feel like the previous 5 teasers and trailers were all amazing, and every single one of them had just an amazing Drax moment at the end of it.
And this one didn't really.
Yeah, but I still think it looks amazing. If this is just more of the same, sign me up.
I don't think there's much to say about this one. We're just really excited for the next Guardians.
Yeah, I think James Gunn they're giving him even more free reign on this one, you can see, and this film is just going to rule. Yeah,
he has somehow found just a way to work within that machine that seems to just benefit everyone, especially us.
So I mean that's there was a lot of trailers that came out and a lot of movies that had it, but that's all the ones that I think we wanted to talk about.
Well, if I can bring one up, did you guys see the trailer for the new Guy Ritchie, speaking of film, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword?
All right, I'm gonna risk sounding bad here, but I loved that.
That new trailer was really cool.
It's really cool, right?
Yeah, it was mostly just the Led Zeppelin. I think that was the main reason I was there. But holy crap, that was a nicely put together trailer.
It is very Guy Ritchie-esque.
Oh yeah.
Has he got a pretty big budget behind this one?
Looks to be. I haven't looked too much into it, but it does.
I don't know why they would give him so much money, but yeah.
Because Man from Uncle, I don't think it did terribly well.
No, it did not.
Did we not like that film?
I thought it was good.
Yeah. I think critically it did fairly well, but I think at the box office it didn't do very good business.
It was about an hour too long, but it was fine.
But no, look, I'm excited for a kind of fantasy adventure. They don't traditionally do well in the box office, but I think it'd be cool.
But this one's gritty, Connor.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's gritty, and it's from the streets.
That's basically how you make money.
Gritty is good, Connor.
It's the new Wall Street. It's the new Hollywood. Gritty is good.
Yeah, I think Nolan's been doing that for about a decade now. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
well,
we've got some more news, right?
Speaking of really
more news.
More news, yeah.
Right now,
really thin
coming at you right now.
Speaking of just really good segue into this of losing money, the Great Wall.
Oh man, I so desperately want to talk about the Great Wall.
Have you guys seen The Great Wall?
I haven't actually, but I'm not interested in the movie itself. I'm more interested in the fact that it's about to lose a shit ton of money and what that might mean for the hopeful endeavor of Chinese American films.
Well, it's an interesting topic, I guess, because Hollywood's been moving that way for a while now. A lot of movies have been Chinese co-productions. All the Transformers movies. A lot of the Marvel movies have different.
I thought it was just the fourth one that was.
Oh yeah, and the next one I think, but Iron Man 3 had a different cut in China.
Did it really?
And yeah, it was co-financed. And those movies are all doing fantastically, but this one was much more a Chinese movie than a Hollywood movie, and it doesn't seem like anyone in this part of the world.
Do you think that's why it didn't perform well?
Look, it had a lot of bad press, mostly because of the whole whitewashing controversy, which I don't think in the actual film is really an issue, because you watch it, it's very much a Chinese movie about Chinese people.
And he's not pretending to be Chinese.
He
is. Yes, he's playing a Chinese. No, he's not pretending to be Chinese in the character.
Well, I mean, it's not beyond Christian Bale was apparently Egyptian. It's not beyond the realm of Hollywood to be like, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
But China has been a key market for certain films like World of Warcraft. That really saved that film's bacon, because
Pacific Rim.
It underperformed. Yeah, Pacific Rim as well. So it makes sense for Hollywood to team up on co-productions in China and this one doesn't seem to have really landed.
So maybe they've just come on a little too strong. They've jumped the gun a bit. Give it a few more years.
Yeah.
And
so
Hollywood
you don't think this is
ready.
the end for that cooperation?
Well, just every other place they're doing it is doing so well.
But they're very much American films with Chinese backing, as opposed to this one, which seemed to be a Chinese film with American backing.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have? Is it doing poorly in China? Is it?
I think it was like 130, 140 that they grossed in maybe not even.
Just can't compete with those superheroes, huh?
Maybe 120 million. I think that they got in China.
Yeah.
Compared to the 30 or 40 million that they did in the States.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see myself going to see this film, and hearing about it, just armies, CG armies battling, CG Chinese armies battling CG lizards,
monsters,
lizard dinosaurs. Like, no thanks. Maybe if I was 4, I would love it, but nah, sorry.
Nonetheless, I don't think this is the last we've heard of China. They'll be back.
Very apt observation there, Ben.
So yeah, that's all the news of the week. And now let's get into our Logan non-spoiler review. We just saw it today, Connor, and I think we had an awesome time.
I loved it, yeah. I think Ben's already seen it twice.
I've seen it twice now. I watched it at midnight the first time, and that can sometimes be a slog, but man, this movie is great.
Yeah, no, look, I think one of the first things is, and I know I say it an awful lot, but it makes sense in franchise films that this really was a breath of fresh air.
A breath of fresh air.
Yeah, God.
Always needed.
And it really was. Like, it was something that was a bit different from the previous X-Men films that we've seen.
It was different.
Far departure from Apocalypse, which was an absolute pile.
Yeah, Apocalypse was just horrendous, and the whole franchise has gone from Sydney opera houses and millions of people disintegrating and dying to a really personal story about Logan, about Professor X, and what a great change up for them. They've really done an amazing job with this film. And this really showcases a different side to Wolverine that we've seen before, a lot more personal, a lot more gritty and realistic, and we really get to know the character better than I think we've ever had the opportunity to in other films.
I mean, Logan's always been tortured and grumpy, I think, but I think this was really the first time that you see him as defeated, and I think that's a really important point to make in this.
It's grim. This movie doesn't pull any punches. And those punches have big metal claws coming out of them as well. I don't think it's unfair to say that just this is unlike anything that's come before. Taking a character that's been on screen for almost 20 years in essentially kids' films and making an R-rated movie like this that's just completely focused on the character and where he is after all this time. It's amazing to see.
Yeah. And can I say, Sir Patrick Stewart in this is killer.
He really blows it out of the park and presents a completely different side to Professor X without giving too much away. This isn't the same guy that's, the man in control, the leader, a majestic man.
The wise master.
Yeah, the wise master. He's deteriorating and, slowly going down. And Logan is now his full-time carer, and their roles are kind of reversed, and it's a really interesting dynamic in the film. James Mangold, I think kudos to him. He's really presented an amazing take on Wolverine, a different side to the character we've never seen before. And I think he really got given leeway to do what he wanted to do, and you can really see that in the end production.
It's going to be the first trilogy that gets substantially better with every installment.
Substantially better.
That's actually an interesting point. I didn't think about that.
There's not many of those around. I don't think there's any. There can't be any.
Well, and it's a fairly unique situation because you're talking about a franchise that's already established. So it's a trilogy within a franchise, really with a character that's not going to go anywhere because it's so heavily embedded in the overall franchise. So they can mess it up as many times as they wanted before they got it right, and get it right they did.
It's a very unique situation, and it's created a very unique movie.
A film that I think is a really nice way for Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart to hang up their hats and say thanks so much. It's been a great ride, and that's a great send off.
Because he has said that this is the last film that he'll do as Wolverine, I believe.
Yes,
which is for me that's a bit disappointing because I would have loved to see him team up with Deadpool.
Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with that?
At the same time, though, I don't think they could ever do a better job than they did with this movie, or a better job with the character. And I would really like to see them retire Wolverine, the character, for a long time now. I don't think they need him in the continuity anymore, where they're going with the kind of McAvoy timeline. Wolverine's not really in that necessarily.
Is there more really slated for that? Has Apocalypse not really just kind of given us...
No, we're talking about
Supernova.
X-Men Supernova Next, which might see them heading into space.
And the Dark Phoenix saga.
Yeah, they'll bring back the Dark Phoenix.
Because that went really well the first time.
More of that, please.
Let's just do it again, guys. Let's just do it.
It'll be different this time. I'm a changed studio.
It's just a parallel timeline. Disregard the other one, please. Yeah, I'm not particularly excited for that. Simon Kinberg is directing it. It's his directorial debut. He's been actively involved in the franchise and many other franchises. But X-Men Supernova, I don't know. I really think this whole X-Men thing needs a reboot, and not a soft reboot like First Class, a hard reboot, new territory, new timelines, new actors. Wipe the slate clean.
Just kill X-Men for 10 years.
I mean, they won't do that. Nobody's going to do that, but...
No, Fantasyland, what we'd like to see.
I'll still say optimistic. I feel like X-Men's a franchise that has a pretty good track record of recovering after it stumbles, or when it falls over and just smacks its head on the ground, like with Apocalypse. Like,
I feel like for a franchise, you shouldn't have to say that. You shouldn't have to say, oh, look, it'll fuck up, but then it'll get back up again.
No, but we're already in the fuck up phase. So I'm saying if they're going to make another one and they're going to keep this continuity going, maybe it'll be another Days of Future Past as opposed to an Apocalypse, which would be very nice.
Yeah, I think that's probably my second favorite X-Men after Logan, and then probably X2. So there's some real gems in this X-Men franchise, but there's some duds, man. Origins, Last Stand... not so great. I'd really like to visit X-Men 1. I don't know if you guys have seen that recently.
It's a weird experience watching that again, because that you really do get the sense that this is that Hugh Jackman is a no-name actor. That the character really wasn't flushed out to the way that it is now.
And
it's still a good film.
Comic book films, kind of the formula hadn't kind of been created at that stage. It was uncharted territory.
It's very of its time, but a lot of it holds up really well.
It's a good film.
Now that we're talking about it, watching Logan, it really feels like that movie is a sequel to just the very first time we ever saw Wolverine, when he was cage fighting in that bar. That amazing, just gritty, realistic scene.
Lost soul type thing.
This guy, it really feels like a follow-up to that before all the superhero outfits and ridiculous stuff came into it.
And they reference X-Men 1 directly in this film without spoiling anything, but I think you're right. I think that is kind of a way you could potentially watch these films and how they interrelate. And I mean, going back to Logan, this film, they really nailed it, and I think that from where this franchise has kind of been, James Mangold has really just done an amazing job with creating something so poignant, so perfect. One of the best comic films of all time, in my opinion. And I think it's great. I think as a final kind of thing to say, summary from me, definitely highly recommend to go see it. Yeah. Don't miss out on this film. It's an amazing cinematic experience.
Yeah, really, really good. Subtle world building, really good character development, just a really excellent overall film. It's been a while since I've watched a film and felt so kind of good after watching it, so complete. It's done that for me. Yeah,
you transcended.
It was really quite an emotional experience.
To keep it brief, we've all been burnt by this franchise before. Do not miss this film. It's a saving grace.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And let's see what happens with X-Men in the future. Hopefully there's some more Logans waiting to happen.
Please let them have learned their lesson.
Later in the week, we're going to be uploading our spoiler discussion review. We talk about Logan for about half hour in depth. So be sure to check that out. And we'll be back next week with another episode of News Show.
Fuck. All right. Well, we'll get it better next time.
Thanks so much, guys. Tune in next time. Over and out.
Catch you.
Bye.